Hi there, my name's Eric Francis here with episode 6 of Planet Waves TV. I wonder what's going to happen when I run out of fingers. I'll have to use some other device to keep track of how many programs I've done. Anyway, I'm reporting in from Dominic's Cafe here in glorious Uptown, Kingston, New York, and I'm here to talk more about Mercury stationing retrograde, that happens tomorrow, and this is synchronous with another aspect, Mars square Chiron. They're happening at approximately the same time as things often do in astrology. There are synchronous events, and though they may not be part of the same cycle, they may not be the same planets, the fact that they're synchronous means that they are meaningful in that they are happening in the context of one another. So again, that's two different things. Mercury stationing direct, and that is Mercury in a square aspect to Nessus stationing direct. And then Mars is making a square to Chiron. So these are two aspects both involving centaur planets. Centaur planets being Chiron and Nessus. What is a centaur planet? It's a little like a combination between an asteroid and a major planet. It's the size of an asteroid, but it can have a very slow orbit. For example, Chiron takes 50 years to go around the sun. Nessus takes more than 100 years to go around the sun, or maybe 90 years or so to go around the sun. So they're both long period points. And then when you mix them with an inner planet like Mercury or Mars, you can get a strong psychological effect, and that is what we have here. The thing is that Neptune is in the mix of all this, and the effect may be under the table. It may not be that easy to see. So let's just take a quick look at the diagram so you can see what I'm talking about here. First of all, here's Mercury, and here's Mars. They're both in Gemini, as I talked about last week. Mercury is currently retrograde, Mars is currently direct, and so you have that interesting push-pull effect going on with a retrograde planet and a direct planet, inner planet, personal planet in the same sign, and that is causing a kind of a split effect. But now a split effect, one moving toward the future, one moving toward the past. But that is changing now that Mercury has slowed down. It almost has no movement retrograde. It's in what's called its stationary position. Maybe it's got a couple of arc minutes left to go before it does that station in about 24 hours, and then it's going to begin moving forward. But what Mercury has done is it has retrograded into a square. Let's come in a little bit closer there. There's Mr. Nessus, discovered in 1993, and it is square Mr. Mercury, discovered a long time ago. And that square is saying it's time to have the difficult conversations, the challenging conversations. Nessus can represent trauma. It represents the legacy material of what we have collected from past negative experiences. Now, when we see Nessus show up in the chart, it is not merely saying, oh, there are these negative experiences, but rather it's saying, now you have an opportunity to do something about these negative experiences. And what Mercury is saying to do is to talk about those negative experiences, those experiences that includes your feelings, your wants, your needs, your desires, and also how you feel about what you have experienced. Being an astrologer who spent most of the hours I've spent in session with people listening to them, I can tell you that I'm aware of how little people actually say to each other, in particular, how little about what matters to people they communicate to one another. And I'm suggesting here that this aspect is saying that there may be something that you've kept below the boards, that you've been in denial about, that you have not quite acknowledged to yourself or to someone close to you. And the invitation is to choose something and begin the conversation. Now, the particular challenge of the sky right now is that, as I mentioned, Neptune, took that out of the chart, but let me just draw that in here with my woodless pencil. That Neptune is right there. See this little orange trident? And so Neptune's presence in the picture is saying that it's easy to deny things. It's easy to let things sort of sink below the surface of the water, below the liminal level, into the subliminal level, and it's easy to just sort of forget things and keep on moving. I'm saying remember things, and keep on moving rather than forget them and keep on moving. Bring them to the surface. Pay attention to what you're feeling, to what you're thinking. As I mentioned in yesterday's extended Planet Waves FM podcast, there's a real quality of know when you don't know, and I would say that in this case that translates to know what you're not saying. If you're choosing to not say something, if you're choosing to kind of leave something for the future or for some other day, for another partner, another conversation, now would be the time to at least know what you're not saying. Pay attention to that and take the chance and bring the conversation to the surface. Now, what may help with that, or what may, not sure the effect it'll have, but let's talk about this aspect happening synchronously, which is Mr. Mars right there, conjunct the Sun, by the way, square Chiron, square the Sun, by the way, so that the presence of the Sun, see that yellow dot in the aspect pattern, adds energy, and it adds a sense of expressiveness, a bit of flair, a bit of drama, a bit of determination to really say what you need to say. And my commentary on Mars square Chiron yesterday on Planet Waves FM was, is it possible to have too much integrity? I've been thinking about that for a day, and my thought about that now is that it is certainly possible to have too much integrity, but this might be time when you need to push that integrity factor a little bit further and make sure that you are indeed saying everything that you need to say, and that you focus your thoughts specifically. Now, the too much integrity piece of Mars square Chiron can be about wanting the exactly perfect time to do things, the exactly perfect time to say something, the exactly perfect person to have that conversation with, and on this planet, exactly perfect is a tough requirement to fulfill. And I would say that the operative concept here is there's such a thing as good enough. This is a good enough opportunity to do this. So focus on your need for healing, Mars square Chiron. Focus on your need to get it right. And then I would say do your best, and by best I mean take the initiative. Mars square Chiron with the Sun involved is an invitation to be the initiator in the conversation. That's really the role of Mars. And if something from the past, some sense of injury or some sense of difficulty, perhaps indicated by Chiron, some sense of what might be a kind of a spiritual wound, Chiron in Pisces, is saying if you brush up against that, let your determination take you the rest of the way. We have many of these opportunities in life where we might do something, but there might be something potentially interfering, and then you have to say, well, but I'm going to do it anyway, and I think this is likely to be one of those opportunities. In any event, ride out the next 24 to 48 hours, or if you're looking at this sometime beyond the Mercury station or the Mars square Chiron, a lot of this astrology is going to hold its validity for a few weeks, because we're going to now be unfolding the whole nature of the Mercury retrograde of the past 3 weeks that began in mid-May. So a couple of other announcements. One is that I'm teaching an astrology class on June 20th, on Saturday rather, sorry. That'll be at, I think at noon or 11 Eastern time. I'll leave an announcement for that on the Planet Waves TV page associated with this. Also, I have a Gemini birthday reading that is absolutely beautiful. It's a 90-minute astrology reading. It is a recorded reading, but I'm really good at doing these recorded readings, and I can extract so much out of these charts that professional astrologers stop and listen to them many times and take notes. And in addition, there is the Cancer birthday reading coming up. So these are awesome readings. I do them once per year when the sun is in that sign, and then the annual edition at the beginning of the year. I suggest you get the super current reading and check that out. Thanks for watching Planet Waves TV. Thanks for reading Planet Waves. Thank you to our core community members who make all of this possible. This concludes edition 6 of Planet Waves Television. My name is Eric Francis, reporting from Dominic's Cafe. Thanks, and keep in touch.